Hello everyone out there. Once again, this is Classic Vinyl Collectibles coming back to you with another video here. And it seems like I always do my videos with the same introduction. So I'd like to do a couple of shout outs here to some of my friends that I've grown with over the years and other fans out there and subscribers. So the first shout out is going to be to Classic Jams, because this video that I'm going to be showing right here is really kind of within your realm. It's going to be all of my electro, all that breakdance stuff that you specialize in. And another friend of mine too, Abel. There's also Amy, my friend DJ Sean, and everyone else who has supported me for all these years. Since 1982 is when I started collecting records. And not too much of an introduction again. I want to get to the records here, but before I do, go ahead and click on the subscribe button, hit the likes and notifications bell, and you'll keep getting my videos too. And if you'd like to look back on my videos on my channel, you'll see everything else I've done too. And leave me your comments too. Let me know what you think about, especially this genre right here, this electro, this breakdance stuff that was so big in the 80s. Especially the scratching on the turntables seems to be sort of a lost skill. Sometimes everyone wanted to do it back then. They had turntables or wanted to get turntables, but there are people out there too who do it for competitions. But let's get right into the records here. My first one, well, I'm going to go to this one right here. Let's see. My first one's going to be my very first record I ever bought, and that's this one right here. Herbie Hancock Rocket, and when I heard this on my boombox radio, I hit the record button. Of course, had to have this on my cassette. Didn't know what it was. Didn't even know who Herbie Hancock was. I think this is, what is this? Yeah, 1983. So I was 14 at the time. That was my very first record. I bought this when it was in Hayward, Southland Mall at Musicland. So there's my first record right there to show. What's the second one going to be? How about this one here? Murder Rock, and it's on what was this? Yeah, Sweet Mountain Records. This one starts off with some some really intense, almost sinister electronic sounds, and another sinister, deep vocoder voice, just dark. He says, "I am a computer. I have been programmed to dance. I am here to digitize you." The beat kicks in, and with some laser sounds. But later on, when the chorus is, I've got the feeling, I just want to dance. I want to dance and move your feet. It's got those electronic, higher vocoder robot sounds, including his deep one. So you want to see really hard-hitting electro classic is going to be this one right here. I've never heard anything close to it. And for when this came out, I think it was 1982, yeah. Pretty ahead of its time for 1982. So you want something that's really deep, hard hitting and banging. That's going to be this one right here. So those of you who know this record know exactly what I'm talking about. Another time I heard on my radio, and I heard this countdown, 10, 9, 8, so forth, with the vocoder voice. The flip side has the breathing like in an astronaut suit. These guys apparently played all their music actually on real drums and real keyboards. I don't think anything was looped, sequenced. It was all just done live in the studio. They've even said that their vocoder that they used, they're not going to tell what model it was. It sort of gives it away. So when I heard this, I had to get this track too, and it is Space is the Place. Another very dark electro cracking tune here. Another one, there's nothing like it. It was on Tommy Boy Records, and I have it here, which is Johnson Crew. Michael Johnson, Maurice Johnson, I think. But this one here is on white. And by the way, I'll handle my records the way I want. I don't play them. I know some people don't like how I handle my records. I take them out. So it's on Tommy Boy, white vinyl. Now the other tracks on here too are Pack Jam, P-A-C-K-J-A-M. All vocoder, all total electro. And you have Space is the Place. We Are Johnson Crew, that's faster. Ground Control, somewhat of kind of a beautiful electro song. All kinds of synthesizer strings in it. You'd have to get this, or at least the tracks off of it. Look at that cover though, without the glare on there. Really nice record. When you have a combination of Soul Sonic Force, I think, or at least, what was his name? Arthur Baker. And you have Planet Patrol on this label right here. You've got Play at Your Own Risk, and it's on purple. This is the album for Planet Patrol. And due to the cover, here's a girl laying sideways here, but I covered it up with the purple vinyl so you can see what the record looks like. But they're on Tommy Boy Records. And this seemed to be a really big label at that time. So if you were electro, you were breakdance and specialize in that, well, we have on here, cheap thrills mean nothing when you have a broken heart. Hey, 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 I didn't know I love you till I saw you. Rock and roll. It's got some guitar in it. A lot of their beats are like Kraftwerk. Remember Kraftwerk, Trans Europe Express? That's where it came from. But Play at Your Own Risk, long version. Do you even know it? For those of you who don't know what Play at Your Own Risk is, I would say it's the absolute breakdance song. It was a combination of electro and doo-wop. That's what I read. Girl, you held me like a puppet on a string, and the freedom that I gave that you abused. If you want my love, girl, you've got to choose. Play at your own risk. It's 3 guys, I think. At least they're still around. But it's the same beats as Planet Rock. Remember Planet Rock? And that's in my pack right here, this pile. But they took Planet Rock beats and incorporated it into this and made Play at Your Own Risk. The beginning of it just has them saying "wea, wea, wea," and it's got a clap sound of the snare, and then it hits into it with the explosion, and it's very galactic, very spacey. So now we have Pretty Tony. You ever heard of him? We heard of Debbie Deb. When I hear music, it makes me dance. Or Look Out Weekend, Here I Come. The guy behind all that, the brain behind her, is Pretty Tony. And what was his name? Tony. I forgot what his real name is. Tony something. But he goes by Pretty Tony. And he has his own records out. He also was behind the group Freestyle and also Trenier. So whenever you hear that vocoder voice and you hear it on this record right here, Don't Stop the Rock. And I had to get this one with the picture cover of Freestyle. And I think they're on these, motocross or BMX racing outfits. I guess that's what this is. But this is Don't Stop the Rock. I went to a party, and what did I see? The girls were wearing leather skirts and see-through jeans. I had the DJ to tell me what is going on. He said, freaks are having a freak-a-thon. So it's Don't Stop the Rock. Great record. And yeah, it's on Music Specialists. So really nice track to have. This guy is from LA, and he even says it. I live in LA. There's lots of catch action there. Let's pretend you're a Ferrari, and I will drive. I'm going to show you why Egyptian Lover is so live. And he had that track on here, and my beat goes boom, 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 boom. But the standout track from this guy, and I remember hearing this on my boombox walking to school. I took my radio to school. And it starts off with Egypt, Egypt. And again, that Planet Rock beat, but the breathing. And then it comes in with the vocoder, Egypt, Egypt, Egyptian Lover. And what I like to do with Egypt, Egypt is take 2 records of the same copy and run 1 beat behind. So when it goes into the main part of the song, it says Egypt, Egypt. I'm using the crossfader and it's going Egypt, 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 Egypt. And then the Egyptian music again, and then Egypt, 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 Egypt. This guy's music was a lot of fun to do that stuff with. Now, on the backside of that record of Egypt was, what is a DJ if he can't scratch? What is a DJ if he can't rap? What is a beat without live clap? Well, I can do it all, baby, just like that. Computer Love, Sweet Dreams. That was the flip side of the 12-inch of And My Beat Goes Boom. It was a pink label on Freakbeat. Anyway, that's his album right there. When we had the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake, that's the one that hit Oakland so hard and San Francisco during the World Series, I was record shopping in our local Rasputin in San Lorenzo. And when I was squatting down on the floor, you know, crate digging when you have to squat down on the floor, I fell backwards and thought I just kind of lost control. Well, what I had in my hand when that earthquake hit, right when it hit, was the first record by Zapp Troutman. And the record was More Bounce to the Ounce. I think the actual song is 12 minutes long. I used to have the record anyway. That to me was like the ultimate lowrider track. I remember when it came out, these 64 Impalas were driving by. These dudes were just really cool. These guys who souped up these cars, and they were wearing hairnets, Converse shoes, the white tank top shirts. They were very clean looking, but they would play that More Bounce to the Ounce. It was quite a sight to see. You don't see that anymore, at least not where I live. His second album here, though, is Let Me See You Grooving on the Dance Floor. Now, what we're talking about here with Zapp and also Roger is they use the mouthpiece that I believe is plugged into their guitar. And it's the same thing that Peter Frampton does in the break of Do You Feel Like We Do when he's talking through his guitar. Well, this one is Let Me See You Grooving on the Dance Floor, baby. The other song in here too is Said I'm Gonna Blow, Do-wah, Let Me Blow, Do-wah, Diddy, Blow That Thing. It's all about a harmonica. But some of the great sounds of the vocoders, they either go up or down, just really, really heavy, really kind of dark. Good stuff though, Zapp. He also had that other track too, I Can Make You Dance If You Want Me To. And then there was one other one. I don't remember what it was. Now, here we go. We gonna do this thing again. Wiki, 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 wiki. And they say, shut up. Wiki, 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 wiki. And that's Nucleus, Jam on Revenge. That was the first song that I heard by them, Jam on Revenge. A little bit slower, great on the electronic drums. And then, of course, the I don't know what they're using to make those children sounds, the voices. It's similar to Parliament. But, I mean, who doesn't know this one? Jam on It, right? No, here we go. So, Jam on It, and I have the 12-inch too, but this was the album to get, because it also has, what is it? Oh yeah, Computer Age, Push the Button. So if you want to get caught up on all this stuff, this electro breakdance stuff that we had, that we were stealing mom's pledge spray and finding cardboard boxes on linoleum to backspin, breakdance. Let me tell you, if I was to do it now at my age, pop, lock, and drop would have a whole different meaning to it at my health. But back then, we were tearing it up. So Nucleus, Jam on Revenge. I was in junior high when this came out. This to me is like, it's such a nostalgic record. You have a cross between R&B, soul, funk, horns, and then somewhat of the birth of hip hop. Because this guy, I believe, invented hip hop. There's even a show on Netflix. It's called The Get Down. It is set in the 70s in the Bronx. And it's how this guy invented the underground parties, came up with the underground parties, taking just the funkiest part of records, and it was called The Get Down. And he would mix those in and then cut out what they called the whack stuff. So he would take just the funky parts of the records and mix them together and throw these underground parties. Well, who am I talking about? None other than Grandmaster Flash. By the way, check out that show, The Get Down on Netflix. It's amazing. Really great show. But we've got this guy right here. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. Now let me go through this a little bit here. She's Fresh. It's nasty. In fact, It's Nasty. It takes a part of Genius of Love by the Tom Tom Club. And these guys' way of rapping or rhyming was very, very happy. Very joyous and very happy. Like they were having a great time with it. Then we move on to Scorpio. How would I describe Scorpio other than the whole thing is just robot vocoder voice? I don't even know what he's talking about. He names some of the guys that are in this group. I don't know what else he's talking about. I can kind of recite it, but you'd have to hear it. Grandmaster Flash, Scorpio, and the whole thing is just cracking and snapping all the way through. It's got a whole bunch of banging electronic sounds in it. Another one way ahead of its time. Here's the guys on the back right here. This is how these dudes used to look. You know, New York, they got the leather and the studs. And there's the guy right there. You want anybody to attribute scratching on records? I think that's the guy who invented it right there, Grandmaster Flash. And he had to have certain weight balance on the turntables. This is before Techniques 1200s. Certain counterweight balance and the right needles. Make sure it didn't skip. Get this album though. I'm telling you, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. Did I leave something out? I certainly did. The message. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep them going under. And then you got Don't Push Me because I'm close to the edge. This was the first of its kind to be talking about, and I haven't been there. I haven't been to the Bronx. I haven't been even to New York. But I'm gathering from what they talk about is how bad it was having to live in the ghetto life, or at least in those inner cities. It was bad back then. They even came out with New York, big city dreams. It's tough to listen to the lyrics. I mean, how bad it is, but they were telling it. They were the first ones to tell a message of what it was like to grow up around that. And I got to hand it to them. They look like they had a good time with it, though, despite it all. So that's the message. I'm going to get to Arthur Baker here and Soul Sonic Force. One of the first of its kind, too. So we've got Planet Rock. Remember Planet Rock? One of the most notable introductions of a record, Party People, Yo Yo Get Funky, Soul Sonic Force. It's been scratched, it's been sampled, it's been used so much. What Arthur Baker has done here is he has combined, what was it? Rock, punk rock from a punk rock song and turned it into rock to the Planet Rock, Don't Stop, with a slight vocoder voice. The beat is from Trans-Europe Express by Kraftwerk. And I forgot where the string section comes in on part of it, but the other part of it is also from Trans-Europe Express. They pretty much ripped from Kraftwerk to make this very notable and nostalgic, classic, timeless record right here, Planet Rock. It's got some really interesting sounds in it, some squashing sounds, some symphony sounds in it. If you know Planet Rock, you'll know what I'm talking about. Here's a trivia question for you. What would you say is the most scratched sample of all time? I'm going to bring out two of them. One would have to be, this stuff is really fresh. Because Grandmaster D took that whole thing from the to this stuff is really, and especially fresh, is what he's scratching in Rocket. Herbie Hancock's Rocket. The other one would have to be, and this has been scratched so many times at my friend's record, when it says, it's time. It has a really terrible scratch before it. It just scuffed so bad from scratching that beginning of the electronic voice, it's time. And that would have to be, well, that record, if you don't know, is right there, Alna Fish by Hashim. Great name for a label, Cutting Records, and it's a saw blade. I always like that. So if you ever wonder what that song is with the scratch, it's time. It's that one right there. So part of Play at Your Own Risk has been taken from that and put into this, where a friend of mine described it also as a sinister voice. It's deep. The voice is, now we know why they're here. And that is from Primrose Path, also from Hashim. But it starts off with this, now we know why they're here. It is one of the most heaviest and darkest electro tracks I have ever heard. Planetary Deterioration, Ozone Layer. And I believe it's part of Dynamix 2 and produced by Brooklyn Funk Essentials. It's not a cheap record to get. Mine actually has the hype sticker on it. Hey, look at that. I love having it. This is a mix of electro, tribal, breakdance, and then later on it's just got these really hard snapping sounds to it that's just grinding. And then it goes to a fade. And it's got the witch from Bugs Bunny. And she says, leaving so soon, I wouldn't hear of it. My party's just beginning. And the beats kicked in. And if you got some good speakers, play that. But watch your speakers on it. The other track that came out on that label, and this was used in rave parties because it's just so nutty, is Annihilating Rhythm. Especially when it gets into, it just smashes and you hear Annihilating Rhythm. And it has a squash sound, and you're hearing, well, it's from Man Perish, Man Made, and it has that boom, 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 boom from Man Made. That's in this. And so they sampled that. But those two records, I'm trying my best to describe here without singing to you, but get those two records, okay? You have to. How about a record that sort of just started all hip-hop? In fact, the first line is hip-hop. I have heard that hip-hop comes from several different areas. One, I have heard that it comes from cowboy, from Grandmaster Flash, because he was in the military, and they would have marching chants when they're training, and one was hip, hop, that kind of stuff. So I don't know how true that is, but the first line in this record is, I said hip, hop, the hibbit, you know the rest of the tune, right? The hibbit, dibby, hip, hip, hop, you don't stop the rock. To the bang, bang, boogie, we got Rapper's Delight from Sugar Hill Gang. And there's the original record right here on Sugar Hill Records. If I can go back for a moment, these guys were, I believe, produced by Sylvia. She's in that show, The Get Down, on Netflix towards the end. And she did this disco song called Pillow Talk. And it's a beautiful, sensual, soft disco song. She's not around anymore, but if you get a chance to listen to it, Sylvia, Pillow Talk, beautiful, beautiful, seductive song. Well, she put together these guys and then came out with Sugar Hill Records. They said, well, she said, I will never do a song that samples somebody else's music. Well, guess what happened? First of its kind. And what are they sampling in Rapper's Delight? Good Times. These are the Good Times by Chic, also known as their other song, Freak Out, where they took Good Times from Chic, and that's the bass line that sounds like Another One Bites the Dust, and that's that dump, dump, ba-dump, bump, bump, ba-bump, and they turned it into Rapper's Delight. The bass line's slightly different than that, but it's sampled from Chic, Good Times, and they turned it into this. So there's your history lesson, if you even needed one. And again, here we are with Egyptian Lover, Egypt, Egypt. You can tell I have a lot of fun doing these videos, but I'm not going to sing it to you. I stink at singing it. I don't need to. You get the idea. Globe and WizKid. Play that beat. Why don't you play it for me? Switch to Mrs. DJ. Play that beat. Why don't you play it for me? It's a great song. I laugh because I remember how old I was when this stuff came out. And hip-hop was so much more happier back then. We didn't have gangsta rap. I apologize. That didn't come out until about 87, when Dr. Dre parted from Wrecking Crew, along with Lonzo and Yella. And they put together NWA, of course, with Eazy-E and Arabian Prince. We all know our history there. So before that, there was no gangsta rap. It was Run DMC. It was all the stuff I'm showing to you, which is fine. I mean, Dr. Dre handed to him. He invented a new sound of hip hop. But we go back to this kind of stuff here, and it was spinning on your back and robot dancing. This is where the teachers thought people were fighting. They come out and they're showing each other's differences with dance moves. I love that record, though. Play that beat. And here we are again, Egyptian Lover, and my beat goes boom, boom, boom. And the backside is Computer Love, Sweet Dreams. Am I going to go through my whole stack? Let's keep going. Why not? John Jellybean Bennetts. He's done a lot of different songs. And you got to hand it to him. He's been very diverse. But when this one came out, this had to have been, I mean, look at the graphics here, the art here. It's something that you would probably see like on the side of a subway or on the walls somewhere in the Bronx or in Brooklyn, and or just the side of a subway here. But this is the Mexican. The one I like to play is, which one is it? Oh yeah, the Mexican Funhouse mix. And it just has a voice going, aha, 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 ha, 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 ha. It's echoing, aha, aha. And then you got the drum machine and a slight keyboard. But it's a lot of fun to mix into house music too. If you're doing any kind of parties that were similar to the rave scene, you could throw this in there really easy. Anyway, Jellybean, the Mexican. I mentioned earlier, Man-Made. This is Man Parish. Man Parish came up with two songs back to back. One was Hip Hop Bebop. Remember that one? The other side of that is Heatstroke. Heatstroke is more of sort of an electro, maybe the way we call it synth pop, kind of a synth pop electro track that was supposed to be made for the adult film industry. If you ever hear it, Man Parish, Heatstroke, great song. But the other side was Hip Hop Bebop. And if you look that up, you'll recognize it. And that's on this right here. We've got Heatstroke, Hip Hop Bebop, and then Man-Made. It's on Man Parish record. Man Parish, he was a white guy. Lots of makeup, very new wave looking, colored hair. You wouldn't recognize him now if you look on Discogs. He's a much bigger guy with goatee. You can tell, see the younger pictures that it's him. But this is great though, Man-Made on this here in Hip Hop Bebop. Look up those two tracks, maybe even Heatstroke too, Man Parish. I remember hearing this, remember KPOO in the Bay Area, KPOO? It was a station that just played all R&B, electro, and soul. It was all the way to the left from KSOL, which was 107.7, to the right of the dial. Here we have Hashim again. We're Rocking the Planet. Remember I showed you their other one? That's the scratch of it, well, the intro of It's Time. This is their other one too, We're Rocking the Planet. And they made great use of the deep vocoder voice on this, We're Rocking the Planet. Oh, by the way, that other one, Hashim Al-Nafish, where It's Time came from, the strings that are used in that were copied from Duran Duran, and it is New Religion. If you listen to New Religion and you hear the string section that Nick Rose used in that, well, Hashim used it in Al-Nafish. It's the same thing. Oh, I love this one here. Wow. Grandmaster Flash and the Wheels of Steel. He has taken Blondie Rapture, the first female rap song, little tiny blonde girl. That's right, Blondie was the name of the group, and the girl was Debbie Harry. And she has her first rap song ever made by a girl. And it's called Rapture. Beautiful introduction with bells, and then she goes right into all her rhyming. He took Good Times, another one, Bites of Dust, Rapture, and cuts and scratches and mixes it all back together on turntables on this Grandmaster Flash on the Wheels of Steel. You got to catch up. If you've never heard this before, find out what Grandmaster Flash did just on some simple turntables, probably with wax paper underneath and reel-to-reel tape. You got to have it. How about this? This is later. Do you have this? Any of you collectors out there? MC80E, they did Transformer and also Bass Mechanic. I like this because it starts off, well, I didn't buy it for this It's Crazy tune. It means nothing to me. The flip side is How Much Can You Take? The beginning of it is very similar to the music from the movie Halloween. That intro, that piano intro, that creepy piano intro. It's the same thing on here. But when the bass hits, it's just shredding. It's just so deep. And the whole thing is a vocoder voice again, that robot vocal talking. So check that out. MC80E, How Much Can You Take? Grandmaster Flash again on Sugar Hill Records. And this one is New York, New York, Big City Dreams. Everything in New York ain't always what it seems. It's another message. It's almost like the Message Part 2. That's a different song though. But this is another message by them. It's tough to listen to, but I think what they were telling was very true. And so you listen to it and you hear what was happening almost 40 years ago, even back then, especially towards the tail end of the song. And then there's kind of even a mugging in the song too. Somebody's wearing the wrong jacket, I guess. I don't know. I don't know about all this. I'm just going by what I hear. And I'm sorry throughout my video if I made any offenses here. I'm trying to get through this by describing stuff. But New York, New York, big city of dreams. Good song. The Arabian Prince. I think Egyptian Lover found him before he went into NWA. And he had two songs. He had one called Strange Life. And then he had this one here, It Ain't Tough. And it's on the Russ Parr Records. Same label as this one. Oh, what is it? Wow, without the glare, I'm sorry. Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters. We like ugly women. And his voice sounds exactly like Eddie Murphy. I thought it was when I first heard it. A little bit slower of an electro track. But he says, hi, this is Bobby Jimmy on the microphone. I came to get down, but I'm not alone. And somehow they made this record here, We Like Ugly Women. It's got weird voices in it. It's one of those things you would hear on college radio as almost sort of an experiment to throw into when you just don't have any commercial time. I loved it. I still do. We got another one here on Freak Beat. Uncle Jam's Army, Naughty Boy. And then also What's Your Sign? And it's on this nice Freak Beat label here. It's just another typical Egyptian Lover track, What's Your Sign? Great sound. He always had such good sound on that Roland 808. I think that was his first drum machine. In fact, look it up. Look up the video, how Egyptian Lover came up with Egypt, and he'll even show how he's doing it on the Roland 808. He said that was his first drum machine. But he heard Planet Rock, and he said, how is that being made? How do they make this record here? And someone told him, you get yourself a Roland 808, and he did it. Hey, he came out with Egypt after that. Gotta hand it to him. And that's it. I think it's that one right there is the Roland 808. So you just program it to however you want it, and you got breakdance tracks. Another nice record right here. I don't quite remember what it sounded like, but it was good enough for me to have it in my collection, so I'm glad to have it. How about this one? You say the one for the trouble, two for the time. Come on, y'all, let's vocoder voice again. Break dance, funky beats, horn section, lots of scratching, and you've got cut it in mellow. Cut it in mellow. And that is, what do they call it? Yeah, West Street Mob. Electric Boogie, break dance, Electric Boogie. Great track to have. Get that one too. I think I'm going to finish this up with, I'll leave that stack for later. One more, Egyptian Lover. Oh yes, love this one here, Girls. Part of the song later on, he goes through all these girls' names. And girls. And then voices, I hear voices in my head. But if you like Egyptian Lover, if you want to get caught up, get this one right here. Girls. Maybe I'll finish up this stack. Why not? Let's get through it. I'm going to make this all of my electro. Okay. So here we go. Egyptian Lover, You're So Fine. Another good one. It's just another great Egyptian Lover track. I've got sticker removal here. I wasn't, this is years ago when I was buying from Discogs and wasn't paying attention to that. I didn't even know about sticker on cover. And you hear that a lot in my videos, so, oh well. Next one here. Planet Patrol. Cheap thrills mean nothing when you have a broken heart. I'm shutting my alarm off there. When you have a broken heart. The Wrecking Crew, the whole thing is Dr. Dre, very powerful electro track, J-U-I-C-E, Give Me Some Juice. Yeah, it's robot voice all the way through. A very powerful song. So look this one up. Wrecking Crew, Juice. Roger Troutman, Same as Zap. I think it's his brother. The 2 tracks on here is So Rough, So Tough, Oh Dear Baby, and also I Heard It Through the Grapevine. Great funky electro track. Rod Neo in The Egyptian Lover. We were wondering who Rod Neo was when he came out with this, and so a nice collaboration here on also Egyptian Empire Records. So this is These Are My Beats. These Are My Beats. Paul Hardcastle, and it is Rainforest. Beautiful electro track. It's got piano in it. Very delightful to listen to. You could break dance to it if you want to, or just play it almost in a restaurant that's playing jazz music. It's that nice. And then he came out with The Average Age of the Combat Soldier was 19, and then he went on to doing beautiful contemporary new age jazz music. I love this one here, Twilight 22, and that is, Electric Kingdom. Almost like Egyptian Lovers kind of stuff. So if you like Egyptian Lover, get this one here. And also their other one too, Siberian Nights. It's got also robot voice in it. Quadrant 6, it's got writing all over it, but Body Mechanic. Anytime will do. You don't need no appointment. Make it dry like glue, something like that. You won't be disappointed. I don't know what he's saying. Leave it overnight. I'll get the job done right. I'm your body mechanic. Definitely a song to be played loud. Planet Patrol. I didn't know I loved you till I saw you rock and roll. That's on that album that you saw earlier. We Are Johnson Crew by the Johnson Crew. It's their faster one, maybe at about 128, 130. We are the Johnson Crew. We are from your planet too. Oh, how about this? Here we go. Africa Bambata with Soul Sonic Force. This is almost like a combination of electro, somewhat experimental electro, and jungle rhythms and African chants and African beats. Boy, this thing was really, really ahead of its time. I remember hearing this, couldn't believe what I was hearing. I think it's 1982 actually, but it's this, looking for the perfect beat, searching for the perfect beat. I've got to get mine. I'm out to get it. Listen to this track. Look it up. African Bambata, Soul Sonic Force, Looking for the Perfect Beat. Wow. What a track this is. I mean, that thing's smoking hot. I used to have Give the DJ a Break by Dynamics 2. Don't know what happened to it, but I do have this one here, which is Techno Bass. It's that one right there. Another powerful electro track. I mean, I can mix all these together, make one heck of a mix, right? And here it is. Another sinister electro track. Johnson Crew, Space is the Place. And it's long too. A long track. Their other song, Pack Jam. Packjam. Pack Jam. Wow. I like this one too. Extra T's. E.T. Boogie. Kind of a cute song. It's electro. A little bit slower. But I remember hearing on KPOO, it's that radio station that was to the far left. And this was a time when soul and R&B was starting to sort of spill over into the 80s to a more interesting and experimental sound. So this one's really nice. If you want to look that one up as well. Better record to have in your collection than Planet Patrol, Play at Your Own Risk. This is on that album I was talking about earlier. Play at your own risk. And of course the chorus is Play, if you play with me, it's at your risk that I'll set you free. Play at your own risk. And then we have this one here, Basstronic by Unknown DJ. So that's this stack of records right here. And I thank you for watching. Like I said, subscribe to the channel, and I hope I was informative to everybody. I try to be, kind of makes you nervous doing some of these videos sometimes on what to say, but I hope I described everything good enough. And this turned out to be a 40-minute video just because I wanted to show some of you all my electro records that I have in one shot. So subscribe to my channel, hit the like button too, and let me know your comments. I'm interested in hearing from you. I hope I was able to show everything kindly there. All right, so that's it. Good night.